Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while. It's been since Christmas and it's now the 2nd of February. I was even meant to film this yesterday on St. Bridget's Day, if you're in Ireland. It is a bank holiday weekend here and I'm spending it up in Dublin, and I thought it'd be a nice weekend just to vlog a little bit and things. I like looking back on these kind of videos. I didn't look back on a lot of my old Dublin videos from before when I had to move home when I got sick with Addison's pre-diagnosis, because they made me sad about the life I had to give up. But I've since watched them back and I'm really glad I filmed them. Even just remembering things like what way my room was laid out or what I like to wear at the time and things is really nice. So I thought this would be a nice one. It's not often on long weekends that I don't have plans, so I'm really relieved I don't have plans this weekend. I love my friends, I love my family, but I need a rest. I also am aware this lighting isn't stellar. It is the natural lighting from outside plus my lamp. So it's making me look like I have an awful dark circles, but also, as we know with Addison's chronic illness, there's a good chance those are actually just there. So, but I wanted to say hi. I'm sitting at my desk. It's the Sunday of the bank holiday. And it's about 12 o'clock in the morning and 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Anyway, and I have a few bits I need to do today. I have a few bits I want to do today. So I live in South Dublin and there is an antiques fair on today near where I live, and I really want to go to it. I love antiques and vintage fairs, even though I don't think I ever buy anything at them, like maybe books sometimes. Like old editions of things that I probably already have, but sometimes I just love wandering around them and I love the energy of them. So there's one of those on near me, so I want to go for a wander there. But before I'm allowing myself to do that, I'm sitting down at my desk. I have my Mac set up and my screens and things that I usually use for work, to be honest, set up to do some writing. I really need to do some writing pieces. I also feel better going about my day when I've already done some writing bits and like done the bits that won't be in the back of my head, kind of pressing issues all the time whilst I'm out. Sorry, I also have a coffee here. Okay, that's nice. I'm trying to branch out with my different Nespresso pods, because I think because I'm autistic and I have very set tastes, and if I like something, I don't tend to get sick of it, but I do like finding new things that are similar to the things I already like. I don't know. So I'm trying new coffee pods, but that worked well. But I'm gonna sit down at my desk and do those bits. I need to do some writing for a blog post I want to push. I want to work on a chapter of the fiction book that I have been planning since 2022 and just hadn't done nothing with until about mid 2024 or end of 2024. Well, when I say I did nothing, I spent a lot of time planning. Like, I filled notebooks with plans and I loved it, but I just couldn't make myself write it. I don't know if that makes sense. I just couldn't do it. Like, it was, I think being unwell and being sick and giving up my life to try and get well, all of those things, just meant my creativity just went off a cliff. I'm also really sorry if there's noise outside. The road outside was exceptionally quiet and now there's seagulls and traffic. But anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna try and do those bits and then go to the antique fair, and then I need to buy a new duvet because the duvet I have is still a summer duvet and it is cold. I think I got away with this throughout winter here because I had a surgery on my ankle in November. So I spent most of November and December in Kerry at home with my parents. So the house was much warmer there. The house here is older. But I can't really get away with it anymore. So I'm gonna do that after the antiques fair. And then I want to, if I have energy, go to my gym and go for a swim. I have started going to the gym again. This is a big step for me, which I suppose if you followed me for a while, you know how deconditioned I became and still am during all of that. health time and things, but also how almost phobic I became to gyms, because it felt like a constant reminder of what I could no longer do or be. And I was also conscious that personal trainers and things would maybe not have the most understanding, because if I didn't tell them my full health history, so I just didn't go. Which I do think for the first year, I think I needed that. But I do want to do that this evening if I have energy, and just kind of go about my day. But I'm going to do some writing bits now. I also need to film a sit-down video, because I am 2 years post Addison's disease diagnosis, and this time last year I did a video on kind of a 1 year recap. I'd like to do a 2 year recap, even though I think my 1 year recap, I remember filming it, but I don't remember what I said. But I feel like I knew nothing back then. So I hope I feel like that in a year and I've learned more and life is easier. But I do want to film that. So you can join me whilst I do those bits, and yeah, I'm not really sure what my plans are tomorrow. Potentially do some more writing. It is a bank holiday, so I'm not sure what place will even be open, because I was thinking of going to a few coffee shops, but we shall see. We shall see. So here I am just doing what I like to call my admin work. I always feel particularly stressed when I don't get this done. It means emails, to-do lists, keeping track of projects I'm doing, finances, anything like that. I like to do this at some point every day, but I don't always get to it. I left the antiques fair after a very short time because it was so busy and it was a lot, and instead I went to the gym, but I feel really weird recording in the gym. Besides the fact that I don't like observing myself in the gym, I also don't want to record anyone else. But when I came back out, the stars were up and it was actually a really clear night, and I love it. It kind of doesn't matter if I'm going to be sitting down to do some writing or whatever for 2 minutes or 2 hours. I have to make the room cozy if it's at all dark. I think these rituals are quite important to me, and they make me feel like I can, I suppose, unwind. I realise I'm a person who needs signals to the brain to tell me that I can relax, and this is the part of the day when I won't have to see people and things like that. So this is actually pretty essential. So although I said this is the part of the evening when I don't have to talk to people, I actually was on FaceTime to my parents. I tend to use a tripod here because my hands go numb if I hold them up for too long. I'm not sure if that's common or not, but here we were just catching up and I suppose just chatting about the week and things like that. I don't do this every evening, probably like twice a week, but we're pretty much texting all of the time. Now it's time for another essential part of my routine that actually probably only happens every week and a half to 2 weeks. For Addison's disease, I take hydrocortisone, but I take a variety of doses. So I get 5 and 10 milligram tablets. It depends on what the pharmacy has. Sometimes it's just really unpredictable to know what they'll have. But I need doses that are 1.25 milligrams, 2.5 milligrams, 5 milligrams and 10 milligrams. So I actually invested in this tablet cutter that is absurdly expensive for what it is, but it's so good and so accurate. So here what I'm doing is I'm cutting up 5s into 2.5s. I use 2.5s probably the most, so I need a lot of them and I go through them a lot. I
sometimes procrastinate doing this because it feels tedious, but it's actually very, very essential. So I try during this time to kind of remember that this is a form of self-care, like I'm taking care of myself actively doing this. Even though sometimes I find myself getting quite frustrated because my hands can go quite numb, or I tend to drop things a lot, especially if my tremor in my hands is quite bad, which it has gotten quite a bit worse lately. But this is kind of a nice thing to do in a way, because it's an easy win, if that makes sense. Like, it's an easy thing to say, oh, I did that, that's tangible, I can see the benefit of it. And if I've done a lot of things like write emails all day that don't feel like all that tangible, this is a nice thing to do. And admittedly, here I am watching Am with Knee, which I restarted again. I've seen it maybe 4 or 5 times, so I'm not doing any kind of profound thinking, I'm just watching Am with Knee. So this is the pier in Dún Laoghaire. I planned on going for a walk along the pier and back. It's a lovely walk, but this was really frustrating on this day. My leg muscles just weren't in it and couldn't do it. So this is as far as I made it, which is to a bench, and I had to sit and then was really winded. So that was disappointing. I'm still not very good at understanding or predicting the cues that my body's giving me, or interpreting them. So when my muscles and my legs were sore, I should have known that would probably travel up my body, and the fatigue that follows can be pretty, I suppose, all-consuming. So even though I made an effort to dress my bed and all these things and had a nice morning routine, it's now probably about 2 p.m. and I am going to bed. I need a nap. Sometimes I don't so much need the nap as I need to just be horizontal. Today I did actually need the nap, so I did sleep, and that was definitely necessary. It also might seem silly, but I always dress my bed again when I get out of it after a nap. After my nap, I made myself a smoothie, which I always find really freshens me up and wakes me up. I made a massive amount, this is a huge portion, and gave me brain freeze, which I think is evident at one point, but definitely necessary. So I am someone who loves a notebook. I think that's probably been evident in all of my content ever. But I also have various forms of to-do lists. So I use kind of throwaway to-do lists on a day, almost written on post-its. I have my diary, I have my journal, all these things. But I usually have tucked into the front of my diary a brown piece of paper that's folded over, that is broken down into columns that include the different projects I'm working on. So they're generally broken down into fiction, non-fiction, and publication. What that means is what non-fiction project I'm writing, which could be blog posts, it could be chapters for a project I'm working on, or fiction chapters for a different novel I'm working on, or chapters I'm editing. And then working on publishing is kind of a new one, where I'm trying to actively engage with the world of publishing fiction and try. I think I've been really disengaged with it the last few years because I've been writing and just kind of tucking things away and saying in the future maybe I'll try to publish something, but I don't think I've been well enough maybe to have the energy, but I feel a bit like I can face that now and gently explore it. So I'm trying to do things like learn how to write query letters, how to write a novel synopsis, things like that. I have done quite a lot of writing courses. My undergrad was in writing. I've done a few courses in like NYU and Yale and things, and part of that was always a query letter. So I'm more trying to learn how to describe my book accurately in a way that showcases it well. So that's one of the projects I'm working on. But otherwise, I find that throughout the week, if work gets busy, I tend to feel like I have a lot of loose threads in my head and they get very knotty. So I have to write them down. And this list is almost a bit anchoring for me. It's there, it's present. I can pull it out and say, great, this is what I need to work on. And even if I only have half an hour in the evening, I'll pick to work on, like spend a half an hour on one of these, and that's still tangible progress. I'm seeing the pattern in this video is that I am looking for constant progress in things. I think this comes with my personality being autistic, but also comes with being chronically ill for a long time and feeling as though you're not making progress. And I imagine today, on the day I filmed this, because I wasn't feeling my best and ended up going to bed. I didn't film this, but I did end up taking migraine tablet because I had quite a migraine building. So I was struggling, and I think you can tell by my shoulders here, even though just generally my posture is bad in this video, but my shoulders, I was having a lot of spasticity in my muscles, and I was trying to hold off taking my muscle relaxants until later. But I think you can tell that I'm trying to ground myself in the fact that I can do things. I don't know if that makes sense. That I can make progress, that I can be creative, that I can, my mind and my body can work together in a way that serves my goals, despite certain challenges. I'm not sure I'm making a lot of sense, but either way, this does actually really help and really grounds me. So it appears that I am the last person awake in the house. That's not very surprising, seeing as I have to be at work the latest out of everyone. Everyone else has to get up pretty early. But I'm going to end my evening how I end all of my evenings, no matter how bad I feel, with my stretch bands. Not this many stretch bands, admittedly. I'll use 3 to do my exercises for my ankle. I see my physio in this day next week, I think, and I can feel him testing me already on how much like weight I've learned to put on the foot and things, because I've had to do like leg presses in the gym and all of that, and I have gotten stronger. But I still have some kind of fear that he's going to be like, you didn't do the work. So I'm going to do that. I just use my carpet here, my nice rugs, and do some stretches before bed. And then I'm going to read a little bit. I'm reading Keeping 13, which is the second book in the Boys of Tommen series, which is by Chloe Walsh. I heard about this series, which is kind of as a fun little teen rom-com kind of thing on TikTok. Didn't look into it and was like, this would be great. This is very like funny and random,
and everything, and then I started, and it's set in Ireland. Chloe Walsh is from Cork, so I should have realised that. But it's set in Cork in 2005, so it's also based around the time I would have gone to secondary school, so I love it. Yeah, so I'm going to read a bit. I think I'm going to updose my steroids from tonight, I think, because I do think I'm actually coming down with something. I just feel quite congested, and I think, yeah, I'm gonna do that, but I'm gonna do my stretches and things and go to bed. But otherwise, thank you for joining me this weekend that was meant to have, I suppose, more to show you, more to be, but was also a very realistic weekend where what I wanted to do became what I had to do for my body. Not for the first time, but somehow still a surprise when it happens. But I really appreciate you being here, I really do. And if you'd like to subscribe, you can. Like with everything with my health, I can't guarantee I'll be consistent. I don't think I ever will be able to guarantee I'll be consistent, but if you do, I really appreciate it. And otherwise though, I hope you're well, and I hope you have a good week. And yeah, bye guys, take care.